Life brings moments of joy, but it also brings seasons of deep sorrow. None of us escapes the reality of trials, the unexpected diagnosis, the loss of someone dear, the fracture of a relationship we thought would last forever, the silent ache of dreams unfulfilled. Sometimes these trials feel overwhelming, like waves crashing relentlessly against the shore of our lives. In these moments, it is easy to feel abandoned, forgotten, or crushed under the weight of suffering. But we are not alone. Standing with us in every sorrow is Mary, the mother of sorrows. She is not a distant figure who cannot understand pain. She is a mother who carried grief in the deepest parts of her soul. From the prophecy of Simeon, who told her that a sword would pierce her heart, to the moment she held the lifeless body of Jesus in her arms at Calvary. Mary knew what it meant to suffer. She walked through the valley of anguish, not once but many times, and in each step she remained faithful. Mary's sorrows do not make her weak. They reveal her strength. She did not run from suffering. She stood. She stayed. She remained at the foot of the cross when others fled. And it was in this place of sorrow that she became for us the mother of consolation and strength, able to walk with each of us when our own hearts are pierced by grief. This day of prayer invites us to draw near to Mary in her sorrows, to let her teach us how to endure trials with courage and faith. Through her, we learn that sorrow is not the end of the story. The cross is never the final word. Mary's tears at Calvary gave way to joy at the resurrection. And so it will be for us. Our trials, united with Christ, can be transformed into hope and new life. Let us walk with Mary, Our Lady of Sorrows. Let us open our hearts to her maternal strength, asking her to teach us how to suffer with faith, how to remain steadfast in the storm, and how to trust that beyond every Good Friday, there is an Easter morning. When we call Mary Our Lady of Sorrows, we acknowledge her unique participation in the mystery of suffering. From the very beginning of her motherhood, sorrow was woven into her story. At the presentation in the temple, the old man Simeon, filled with the Spirit, spoke words that must have pierced her heart. And you yourself a sword will pierce, so that the thoughts of many hearts may be revealed. Luke 2:35. It was a prophecy that foretold her journey, not one of comfort and ease, but of pain, endurance, and deep union with her son's suffering. Mary's sorrow unfolded in many moments across her life. She felt the pain of uncertainty when Joseph considered quietly leaving her. She knew the anguish of fleeing her homeland, carrying the infant Jesus into Egypt to protect him from Herod's murderous wrath. She experienced the agony of losing him for 3 days in Jerusalem when he was only 12 years old. Each of these moments was a kind of foreshadowing, a preparation for the greatest sorrow yet to come, the passion and death of her beloved Son. At Calvary, Mary's sorrow reached its fullness. Standing beneath the cross, she witnessed the brutal suffering of Jesus, the scourging, the mocking, the nails, the slow agony of crucifixion. No mother should ever see her child die, much less in such cruelty. And yet, Mary did not turn away. She remained present. She stood with him, sharing in his pain, uniting her pierced heart with his pierced body. In her silence, in her tears, in her steadfastness, she became an icon of faithful endurance. But Mary's sorrow was not despair. Even in her grief, she trusted. Even in her agony, she surrendered. She believed that the God who had promised salvation through her Son would not abandon him, even in death. This is what makes her journey so powerful. Mary's sorrow is transformed by faith. She does not crumble under the weight of her suffering. She becomes stronger, more radiant in her fidelity. Her sorrows are not distant from us. They mirror our own human experiences of loss, confusion, and grief. When we lose someone we love, when we feel powerless before suffering, when we cannot understand why God allows such pain, Mary meets us there. She does not offer quick answers or easy solutions. She offers presence. She offers the strength of a mother who has walked the path of sorrow before us and knows that beyond every Good Friday lies an Easter Sunday. Mary's journey reminds us that sorrow is not something to avoid or fear, but something that, when embraced with faith, can deepen our union with Christ. Her pierced heart becomes for us a source of consolation. If she could endure, we too can endure. If she could stand at the cross, we too can find the grace to stand in our trials. And if she could believe in the darkness, we too can cling to hope until the light returns. Mary's sorrows, then, are not just her own. They are ours as well. She carries them with us. She shares them with us, and she transforms them by leading us always closer to her Son, the Man of Sorrows, who is also the Prince of Peace. Few passages in Scripture capture the depth of human sorrow and divine love as vividly as John 19:25-27. Standing by the cross of Jesus were his mother and his mother's sister, Mary, the wife of Clopas, and Mary Magdalene. When Jesus saw his mother and the disciple there whom he loved, he said to his mother, "Woman, behold your son." Then he said to the disciple, "Behold your mother." And from that hour, the disciple took her into his home. These words are simple, yet they carry an eternal weight. Mary, standing at the cross, is not passive. She is not broken by despair. She is present, fully, painfully, faithfully. She does not look away from the horror of her son's suffering. She stands. That small word, standing, reveals her strength and her surrender. She does not collapse in hopelessness, nor does she flee. She remains at the place of agony, anchored in love. At that moment, Mary's motherhood is expanded. She is not only the mother of Jesus, but she becomes the mother of all disciples. When Jesus says, "Woman, behold your son," he entrusts John, and through John, each one of us, into Mary's maternal care. In her sorrow, she is given a new mission: to be mother of the church, to carry in her heart all those who would follow Christ. This passage reveals something essential about the Christian life. True love does not abandon in times of suffering. Mary's love for Jesus led her all the way to Calvary. She could not ease his pain, but she could accompany him. She could stand with him, pray for him, and love him to the end. Her example shows us that sometimes the greatest gift we can give another in their trial is our presence, the willingness to remain, even when there are no words, no solutions, only love. But the passage also reminds us of Jesus' tenderness. Even in his agony, he does not forget his mother. He provides for her. He ensures she will not be alone. He entrusts her to John, and John to her. In doing so, he shows us that the cross is not only a place of suffering, but also a place of new relationships, new family, new hope. For us, Mary at the foot of the cross is both comfort and challenge. Comfort because we know she understands our sorrows and stands with us in them. challenge because she invites us to do as she did, to remain faithful, to stay present, to love even when it costs us everything. When we meditate on this passage, we begin to see that the cross is not the end, but the beginning. Out of sorrow is born new life. Out of loss comes new communion. And in the heart of Mary, pierced but unbroken, we discover a model of how to face our own sorrows, with courage, with faith, and with unshakable trust in the God who brings resurrection out of death. Each of us carries sorrows that weigh heavily on our hearts. Some are visible: the loss of a loved one, the ache of a broken marriage, the emptiness of a child gone astray. Others are hidden, tucked quietly into the corners of our souls. Loneliness, guilt, fear, or disappointment. Sorrow often isolates us, convincing us that no one could truly understand what we are going through. Yet in these moments, Mary draws near. Mary does not come to take away every sorrow. She does something even more profound. She shares it. Just as she stood beneath the cross of Jesus, she stands beside us beneath the crosses of our lives. She does not tell us to be strong on our own. She offers her strength. She does not tell us to hide our tears. She receives them, as a mother gathers the tears of her child. Imagine for a moment sitting with Mary in your place of pain. Picture her presence, calm, steady, tender. She does not need to say many words. Her very being speaks of compassion and faith. She has known sorrow. She has felt the piercing sword in her heart. And so, she is not shocked by your suffering. She does not minimize it or explain it away. Instead, she whispers, "I am here. I will not leave you. Together, we will bring this to Jesus." Mary's consolation is deeply maternal. Like any mother, she desires to hold her children close, especially when they are hurting. When grief makes us feel abandoned, Mary reminds us that we are not alone. When trials tempt us to despair, she points us to hope. When anger or bitterness threatens to take root, she gently leads us back to forgiveness. But receiving Mary's consolation requires openness. It means allowing ourselves to be vulnerable before her, just as John allowed himself to be entrusted to her at the foot of the cross. We may resist, thinking, "I can handle this on my own." But Mary teaches us that true strength lies in entrusting ourselves to love. In her care, we learn that surrender is not weakness, but courage. This meditation invites us to bring our daily sorrows, big and small, into Mary's hands. The frustrations of work, the tensions in family life, the weariness of illness, the sting of betrayal, the ache of missing someone we love. None of these sorrows are too small or too great for her maternal heart. She gathers them all, carries them with us, and presents them to her Son. When we let Mary console us, we discover that sorrow does not have to harden us. It can, instead, soften our hearts to love more deeply. Mary shows us how. Her sorrow did not make her bitter. It made her more compassionate. Her grief did not close her off. It opened her to become mother of all. In her, we see that sorrow, lived with faith, can transform us into channels of consolation for others. So today, whatever sorrow you carry, pause for a moment. Imagine placing it into Mary's hands. Hear her voice saying, "You are not alone. I am with you. Together we will walk through this, and together we will rise with Christ." Let her consolation strengthen you, not to escape sorrow, but to endure it with hope until joy returns. Let us now enter into a time of prayer with Mary, the Mother of Sorrows and the Mother of Consolation. Allow your heart to become still. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and picture yourself standing with Mary at the foot of the cross. The air is heavy with grief, yet there is also a quiet strength radiating from her presence. Pray with me. Mary, Mother of Sorrows, you stood faithfully by the cross of your Son. You did not turn away, even when your heart was pierced with pain. Today, I come before you with my own sorrows. I bring to you the burdens of my life, the griefs that weigh me down, and the wounds that ache within me. Be near me now as you were near Jesus. Hold me close in your motherly embrace. Acknowledging our sorrows, take a moment in silence. Let the specific sorrows of your life rise to the surface. Name them before Mary in your heart. The illness you are carrying, the loneliness you feel, the disappointments, the family struggles, the losses that cut deep. As you place each sorrow before her, imagine her receiving them with tenderness, not with judgment or shock, but with deep understanding. Pray, Mother Mary, these sorrows are heavy for me, but I know they are not too heavy for you to carry with me. I entrust them into your immaculate heart. Take them and bring them to your Son, Jesus. Meditation with Mary. Now imagine Mary speaking gently to you. My child, you are not alone. I am with you in this pain. I know what it means to weep, to lose, to suffer silently. I stood by the cross, and I stand now by yours. Trust me to walk with you. Trust me to console you. Together we will bring your wounds to the Sacred Heart of Jesus, where every tear will be wiped away. Let these words sink deeply into your spirit. Allow her consolation to soften your heart and bring peace. Prayer of consolation. Mary, Mother of Consolation, I open my heart to you. Where there is despair, bring hope. Where there is bitterness, bring forgiveness. Where there is loneliness, bring your gentle companionship. Where there is pain, lead me to the healing love of Jesus. Let me feel your hand upon my shoulder, your embrace around my soul, and your voice reminding me that I am not abandoned. Intercession for others. Mary's consolation is not meant for us alone. She invites us to extend it to others who suffer. Take a moment to think of someone in your life who needs comfort, a friend who is grieving, a neighbor battling illness, a family member weighed down by worry. Picture Mary wrapping her mantle around them too. Pray, Mary, Mother of the afflicted, bring your consolation to all who suffer, to the lonely, the sick, the poor, the abandoned, the persecuted. Teach me how to be an instrument of your consolation, bringing love, presence, and compassion to those around me. Mary, Mother of Sorrows, I thank you for your presence in my life. Thank you for reminding me that no sorrow is too great when carried with you and your Son. Teach me to live each day with hope, even in the midst of pain. Teach me to console others as you console me. And most of all, keep me close to the cross, where love conquers sorrow and life conquers death. Amen. As you open your eyes and return to the present moment, carry with you the peace of knowing that Mary walks with you in every sorrow. She consoles not by removing the cross, but by helping you bear it, and by pointing always to the hope of resurrection. Mary does not remain at the cross as a figure of distant sorrow. She becomes for us a living presence of consolation in our everyday lives. Her motherhood did not end at Calvary. When Jesus, in his final moments, said to the beloved disciple, "Behold your mother," John 19:27, he gave her to each of us. This means that Mary desires to console us daily, not just in great trials, but in the small sorrows that creep into our ordinary routines. To live consolation daily is to let Mary teach us how to bring comfort to others in the same way she comforts us. The world is full of people carrying silent griefs. The colleague who hides behind a polite smile, the neighbor who lives alone, the family member who feels forgotten. Like Mary, we are called to notice them, to draw near, and to bring the presence of Christ's compassion, allowing Mary to console us daily. The first step is to open ourselves to Mary's maternal consolation each morning. Just as we might begin the day by asking God for strength, we can begin by asking Mary for her tender presence. A simple prayer, "Mary, Mother of Sorrows, walk with me today," can transform how we face difficulties. Living this way means remembering that we are never abandoned. Whether at work, in traffic, or in quiet moments at home, we can whisper a prayer and feel Mary's embrace in the silence of our hearts. Bringing consolation to others, Mary teaches us that true consolation is not about giving easy answers, but about being present. She did not speak many words at Calvary. Instead, she stood, strong and compassionate, near her Son. In our daily lives, we can console others by imitating this presence. Sitting with a grieving friend, listening without judgment, or offering a gentle word of encouragement. Small acts of love, a phone call, a handwritten note, a shared meal, can become channels of Mary's maternal consolation. Through us, others may come to experience that same peace she brings, becoming a witness of hope. To live consolation daily is also to carry hope in the midst of sorrow. Mary did not allow the darkness of Good Friday to have the final word. She awaited the dawn of Easter. In our struggles, we too are called to hold on to hope and to reflect it to others. When co-workers see us endure difficulties with patience, when our children witness us praying even in sadness, when friends notice our quiet trust in God despite hardship, we become witnesses of hope. This is one of the most powerful forms of consolation we can offer. Practical steps for living consolation. Daily pray the Memorare daily, entrusting all who suffer to Mary's intercession. Carry compassion into daily interactions. Ask yourself, how can I be a presence of comfort to at least one person today? Offer your own sorrows for the good of others, uniting them with Mary at the cross. Keep a heart of availability. Sometimes consolation means simply being ready to listen when someone needs to share their pain. Living consolation daily does not mean we deny our own sorrows. Instead, we allow Mary to transform them into a source of strength and empathy. Through her, we discover that our wounds can become places where God's love shines most brightly. When we welcome Mary's consolation into our lives, and when we extend that consolation to others, we participate in her mission as Mother of the Church to draw hearts closer to Jesus, the true source of healing and peace. So let us go forth, carrying Mary's gentle presence in our hearts. Let us be instruments of her comfort in a hurting world. And let us live each day with the confidence that, with Mary at our side, no sorrow is ever endured alone.